Emerald Fennell, Saltburn. Where do we start with this one? I interviewed you on the carpet of London Film Festival before I'd seen it. And then I watched it, I think, like the day after. And I was like, God, I wish I'd seen this beforehand. It is the first film I've seen in a good long while that made me audibly gasp in my seat. I'd like to watch it again just to watch other people's reactions to it and see if they're as shocked as I was at moments. Was there any time in writing this where you were like, God, I hope they let me get away with this. I hope I can get away with this scene.
I mean, honestly, I think almost all of filmmaking is the exercise of, I hope they let me get away with this. But absolutely, I mean, what's been so thrilling about watching it is that it's just different in every room, in every place, because we've been in America, going all around all the states, and then here in England, there is not one room that doesn't have a completely different dynamic. And it's exactly that. Some people are gasping, some people are laughing with kind of horror or embarrassment, some people are like shushing because they want to hear every single moment. And it's kind of just so... That's the thing, that's why you make movies, for the theatre, for the cinematic experience, for everyone in that room to just like, yeah, feel it.
Are those the most satisfying kind of things to write, but the most nerve-wracking things to kind of like put into action when making a film? Like getting signed off and talking the actors through what you want. Those kind of scenes that challenge an audience to keep watching, but really like push them in that way when they want to like gasp and cover their eyes at times.
Well, I think it's sort of about finding your collaborators. Like, that's what's so great about the way that I work is nobody knows what I'm working on, and then, you know, until the script is ready and very kind of very much sort of finished, I would say. It means that when you're talking to, you know, Linus, the cinematographer, or the actors, or the production designer, they have a pretty good idea of the sort of film that we're going to make. And so it just means that you're all of you working in one direction, and that direction is to do, as you say, kind of push, is to keep kind of pushing and finding where those, like, you know, you want to like slip your hand in the underbelly and kind of see where the tenderness is. That's what's so interesting, isn't it?
I definitely felt the hand in my underbelly. I didn't know what to do with myself at the time. I felt like a prudish old lady. It was great. I loved it. Speaking about collaborators, there's obviously a lot of heat over like Barry, over Jacob. I think Rosamund Pike was like a scene stealer like throughout this movie. As actors, I guess a lot of it is on the page already, but how much of a buzz is it behind the camera to see how those characters come to life through their interpretation of what was on the page, and how different was it on camera and on screen to what it was in your mind when you put it to the page?
Oh, I think it's sort of a combination of both. It's that when you get actors as good as the actors are in this film, is that you kind of have that uncanny feeling of, this is exactly what I wanted. And then also, more than that, better. You know, more kind of excruciating, more hilarious. They're so brilliant, all of them. And also all of them like really exceptional comic actors, because this really is like in its heart a very, very, very dark comedy. So it was important that everyone felt real, but there was also this kind of sick humour that everyone really, really understood. And I think, you know, Jacob gives such an exceptional like comic performance. And then, you know, Richard, who's just so good. Every line is just devastating. And then you find people like, you know, not find, but you're introduced to people like Archie and Alison, who play Venetia and Farley, who you've never worked with before, who are just like transcendently good. It's one of the most exciting and the most important parts of making a film is that casting process. I
think when I don't want to give too much away, but when like Richard's character sort of turns towards the end and becomes a lot more sort of formidable, I think that's quite exciting to watch. Let's talk about when it was set. I love the soundtrack to this because I started uni in 07. This is set in 06, so it was all like great music, crap clothes, and I love that. But I wondered what inspired you. Was it your own like sense of nostalgia or something else that made you want to root this story in that time?
Totally. Well, it's set kind of for the most part in the sort of summer of 2007, and absolutely that was when I was at university. But more than anything, because the way that this film is a kind of take on the Gothic tradition, this sort of British country house Gothic, you know, that you have at Brideshead or The Go-Between, for example. And it's always a narrator telling you about something that happened in their past that they never got over. And so it always had to have that framing narrative, which meant it needed to be set to some degree in the past. And 15 years ago feels perfect because it's wherever you are in time, 15 years ago is not cool. It's like, it's always bad clothes, bad hair. It's not become trendy yet. So that was really part of it, was kind of humanising this family and also making the world feel, if you're dealing with a very timeless, beautiful world, making it actually feel sort of timely. It would have been, if we'd set it now, it would have been too cool. You know, it just would have been beautiful people in beautiful clothes. There's something really funny about all of them having Carpe Diem tattoos, Livestrong bracelets, bad tans, you know, bad jeans. That's kind of part of the whole world, really.
Well, I'm not sure everyone would have cool clothes now, considering I'm wearing a novelty T-shirt in 2023.
Good for you, and good for you.
Thank you. I've got to live my truth.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure whether it was the purpose of the film, but it just made me very nostalgic. In a way, I was like, send me back.
Really?
In a way. Obviously, the whole hedonistic kind of like whole world I had no idea of course, but to listen to Block Party again every day would be sick.
No, to listen to Block Party would be amazing. What was quite devastating was the costume department would be like, oh my God, Emerald, we found the most disgusting T-shirt. You're going to love it. And it was literally something I still wear. It's still in my wardrobe. And I was like, ha ha ha, how awful. Yeah.
At least the sweatbands have mostly disappeared.
Mostly.
Congratulations on the movie. Another banger, if you ask me. Really enjoyed it. And I'm sure lots of people will as well.
Thank you.
Cheers.